I was not going to comment on any of this stuff until this took place. Watch what she says.
Or the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
It happened fast, but the moment that left everyone speechless wasn't a dunk or a buzzer beater. It was Brittney Griner's mouth. Mid-game against the Indiana Fever, cameras caught her saying something no mic should have picked up. Trash effing white girl. And yes, it was directed at Caitlin Clark. Let that sink in. On national TV, in a league fighting for relevance, respect, and viewership. And this is what one of its biggest stars decides to say out loud? This wasn't just another heated moment on the court. This was gasoline poured on a fire already out of control. And when Patrick Bet-David saw the clip, he didn't just react, he detonated.
She says, this is from Brittney. Every time we play her, there's this commotion, like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there, watching on purpose. It's very disruptive. It's called the freaking game that they pay you money to play. Don't play the game.
The same guy who built an empire from nothing, now ripping apart the WNBA's entitlement culture with words sharper than a three-point dagger. His response wasn't emotional, it was surgical. He played the audio, paused, rewound, and then dropped the hammer. That's a racist comment, he said flatly, and it's disgusting.
And you're out there talking shit and saying racist shit on the freaking sideline, and it's disgusting.
No fluff, no excuses, just facts. But here's what makes this more than just a viral clip. This was Griner, the same player the US traded a literal arms dealer to rescue from Russian prison.
Clearly, she's not remembering who they let out to get her back.
The merchant of death.
The merchant of death. An arms dealer that wanted to kill American citizens.
A prisoner swap that made international headlines. A move that sparked political debate and divided the nation. And she repays that freedom with this. Now the league has a bigger problem than bad ratings. They've got a star player spewing slurs on court like it's playground drama. Even if you're not a Caitlin Clark fan, the optics are terrible. A league that has spent years begging for respect just took a massive self-inflicted blow. And Bet-David wasn't about to let it slide. He didn't go for the apology route. He went for the cultural core of the WNBA.
And she says, the whole thing is toxic. I saw a guy with his daughter in the crowd, both of them yelling, couldn't hear what they were saying exactly, but it was either about my performance or some light racism, definitely one of the two. Give me a flippin' break.
You'd think the WNBA would be rushing to put out this fire, right? Wrong. Instead of accountability, we got silence. Radio silence, no press conference, no league statement. Just a whole lot of crickets while the internet exploded. But Patrick Bet-David wasn't done just calling out Brittney Griner. He went straight at the system that enabled her. According to him, this isn't a one-time slip-up. It's the result of a toxic culture that's been boiling under the surface for years. And this was the lid blowing off. Think about it. You trade a dangerous international criminal to bring this player home. And she thanks you by going full racist in front of millions. That criminal? Victor Bout, aka the Merchant of Death. He wasn't some petty thief. He was one of the most dangerous arms dealers alive. We handed him back, just to bring Griner home. So how does she use her second chance? She walks into an arena packed with fans. Fans mostly there because of Caitlin Clark, by the way, and starts mouthing off like it's street ball beef. Imagine if the roles were reversed.
I want to know, is the WNBA okay with one of its players saying fucking white girl on the bench and getting caught by TV cameras saying such? I guess they are. I guess they're okay with it. Obviously, the league would very much not be okay with a white player saying fucking black girl on the bench in anger and getting caught by TV cameras. That would be an immediate suspension, if not a career ender for said white girl.
Would the media stay silent if Caitlin Clark said that about Brittney Griner? Exactly. We'd see emergency pressers, public apologies, corporate sponsors pulling out, and probably a mandatory DEI workshop before next week's practice. But Griner? She gets a pass. And that's where Bet-David lost it. His frustration wasn't just about Griner. It was about double standards, entitlement, and the death of professionalism in women's basketball. And it didn't help that at the same time, ESPN commentators were busy saying that Angel Reese, a player shooting 22.7% from the field was the Michael Jordan of the WNBA.
Has made a bold prediction that Angel Reese will become the MJ of the WNBA by the time she retires. That's what she said. Okay. Let me continue.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, in a ESPN report shows that Angel Reese has a field goal percentage of 22.7% in a WNBA game, which is a significantly, she shot 43.8% on attempts within 5 feet of the basket. Do you know what 5 feet is, Vinny?
That's not hot take. That's just comedy, Bet David said. She can't make layups and we're comparing her to the GOAT? This wasn't about basketball anymore. It became about protecting a narrative. And if the WNBA thought this controversy would fade away quietly, they seriously underestimated the internet. Now here's where it all just spirals into absolute madness. Right when you thought the situation couldn't get more bizarre, Patrick Bet David dove even deeper, exposing the insanity behind the media circus, propping up players like Angel Reese and Brittney Griner, while tearing down the one person actually saving the league, Caitlin Clark. Let's rewind to the incident that kicked it all off. Angel Reese shoved one of Clark's teammates. Clark responded with a foul. Reese flopped like she'd been hit by a rocket launcher. But instead of calling it what it was, a classic basketball moment, the media turned it into a full-blown racial controversy. Why? Bet David asked. Because Caitlin Clark is white. That's it. That's the narrative they want.
Angel Reese pushes one of the teammates of Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark fouls Angel Reese. Angel Reese does one of these LeBron flops and falls on the ground. And the next thing you know, DeMarcus like, oh my God, she's protected. Oh, it's all because she's white and all this other stuff. And then Angel Reese comes out and she's saying all these things. And
Then came the pile-on. DeMarcus Cousins jumped in, claiming Clark gets protected because she's white. Jamila Hill, in one of the worst takes of the year, claimed Angel Reese would become the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. Let's not forget, Reese is currently putting up stats that would get you benched in a high school game. Jordan? More like Kwame Brown with social media clout, Bet David quipped. But it didn't stop there. It got so insane, ESPN's Ryan Clark started attacking RG3, yes, Robert Griffin III, just for defending Caitlin Clark. And his reasoning? RG3's wife is white.
In both of your marriages, you've been married to white women. You haven't had opportunities to have those conversations to educate you on what they're feeling, what black women deal with.
Ryan Clark didn't like my sports take that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. But what you don't do is turn around and personally attack me and my family. But what that really shows is just how low of a person Ryan Clark is.
That's right. According to Ryan Clark, a black man's opinion on race in sports doesn't count if he married a white woman. Think about that. A national commentator literally trying to disqualify someone's opinion because of who they love. This isn't commentary. This is race baiting disguised as analysis, Bet David said bluntly. And this is what the WNBA wants to build its brand around?
Ryan Clark, out of nowhere, comes out and he says, well, what does RG3 know anything about this? RG3, who was a former quarterback, was a black man, by the way, says, what would RG3 know about this? He's married to a white woman. And they're like, wait, what did you say?
Petty drama, identity politics, and racial division instead of basketball. Meanwhile, Clark keeps showing up, taking hits, and still managing to pack arenas, boost ratings, and carry the league on her back. And what does she get in return? Jealousy, bitterness, and now, slurs whispered from across the court. This is what happens when politics become more important than performance. But the real explosion came when Patrick Bet David played that now infamous video. There she was, Brittney Griner, walking off the court after fouling out, visibly frustrated, and caught on camera saying what sounded like trash effing white girl. The words were clear enough to pause a broadcast, and when PBD heard it, he hit the brakes hard. He didn't speculate. He didn't waffle. He said, "That sounds like a racist comment, and it needs to be called out. No hiding behind nuance, no spinning it into something else, just direct condemnation." And he didn't stop there. PBD reminded the world exactly who Brittney Griner is in the eyes of global politics. This isn't just some random athlete. This is the same person the US government prioritized in a prisoner swap with Russia.
That's who they let out. For her. You would think that you would be smiling, you would be ecstatic, you would be happy And something like this wouldn't faze you at all. The fact that it does is disturbing. I'll leave it at that.
Trading her for one of the world's most notorious arms dealers, Victor Bout, Griner was labeled a political symbol, treated as a victim of injustice, given massive support from the media, the White House, and celebrities. She came back to a hero's welcome. And now she's throwing around slurs like she's still hooping at a pickup game behind a gym? This isn't just ungrateful. It's nuclear-level tone-deaf. It's like getting pulled off a sinking ship and then setting fire to the rescue boat. But PBD also zeroed in on something even more outrageous. After everything, after the swap, the media tour, the Nike deals, Griner still had the nerve to complain about Caitlin Clark bringing too much attention to the league. She actually said that when they play Clark's team, the fans make too much noise. There's too much commotion. She's distracted. It's overwhelming. You're playing professional basketball, Bet David snapped, not attending a yoga retreat. Griner's quote, real or satirical, captured the energy of what many critics are saying. The WNBA has players who act like having fans is a problem. Imagine an NFL player saying, ugh, too many people are watching me score touchdowns. You'd get laughed out of the locker room. Instead of being thrilled that Clark is filling seats and driving revenue, some WNBA stars treat her like a threat. The irony is off the charts, and so is the damage. If you're enjoying this kind of breakdown and want more unfiltered sports truth, hit that subscribe button and stick with us. It makes a huge difference. Thank you.